All right, in this video we're going to be going over opponents. Essentially opponents allows you the ability to add opponents as you're creating games and tournament games, and then also allows you to update their rating as you continue forward with games. So one thing that we want to go to is the settings button, which we briefly touched on originally when we started going over the videos. But essentially in here with opponents, you'll be able to update their rating if you have that toggled. If you toggle it off, it won't let you update the rating. If you don't want to add opponents automatically, you can also turn that off. That's really up to you. We left that feature because some people may or may not like to use the opponent setting. So we wanted to kind of give the ability for everybody to do what they want with the application. Essentially, because we have both these options toggled on, essentially if I back up and then I go to the menu and go to opponents, every single game that we played so far lists my opponents. So in the opponents, I can also search. Again, you can type in who you want. So again, Kyle, it shows Kyle, it brings Kyle up to the front, and so forth. I can also press to add an opponent. So if I want to add an opponent that I know maybe that I'm going to be playing in this tournament or whatnot, you can go ahead and manually add somebody. If you want, you can press and hold on them, and there's an option for edit and delete the opponent if you don't want to delete the opponent. One thing to note, when you delete the opponent, it does not delete the games, and vice versa. If you delete all the games, the opponent's still there. So under review games, if you go in to delete a game, essentially it's the same thing. So we'll go ahead and launch on Gil. So in Gil, it has all the information broken down. It has his USCF rating, his FIDE rating, and his club rating. So here it shows that we've only played him in a FIDE tournament because he's unrated for USCF and club. When you set up a game and you create any tournament that you're playing in, and you only are playing in that type of tournament, whether it's a USCF, a FIDE, or a club, essentially at that point it's only capturing the rating information during that time. So that's the breakdown on that. Here's another option where you can edit, and you can go in and you can edit as well. So you can also edit on this screen. The other option in here is to see your games together. So if you press on that, it's going to show every single game that you've ever played with Gil. So it only shows just that one game. So if we go to, I think it was the club. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back to opponents. And I think it was Jim, where we played two different games with Jim. So we played a USCF game with him and also a club game with him. So if I go back to opponents and then click on Jim, I can see in here that in our club we're unrated, and then it has his USCF rating. So if I did have a club rating for him, it would be listed here. So that's opponents in a nutshell. The other place where you can access opponents is if we'll go ahead and start a tournament game here real quick. And in here where it says use a known opponent, you just press on the toggle button, and it lets you choose the player that you want to play for that round. And essentially you just press that player, and it automatically adds Jim in to the opponent information. If you don't want to use that, you can turn that off, and then as you see, it removes Jim from here, and then you can just put in a different opponent. So that's essentially opponents in a nutshell, and we're going to go ahead and end this video.